Tonight, MP Taylor Bachrach has reaction to WestJet's recent announcement about affordability measures. Plus, the city of Prince George is looking for support from the province for compensation with regards to medical supplies. And the College of New Caledonia had its graduation ceremony today. Good evening, folks. I'm Eddie Huband, and welcome to CKPG News. Our top story tonight: if you've traveled by air recently, you'll know that ticket prices are not cheap, depending on where you're going and at what time. But recently, Canada's second largest airline renewed their commitment to providing affordable air travel for Canadians. But is the recent announcement enough? Adam Burrows has the story.
Air travel is a necessity in Canada due to this country's vast geography. And if you need to go a long distance in a short period of time, flying is generally the way to go. But it isn't cheap. With only a few choices when it comes to airlines, consumers have little options.
Consumers do deserve affordability. Canadians do need to fly. And I think that the government's interventions should be really focused around the needs of the public, around the needs of air passengers, whether we're talking about air passenger protections when it comes to mistreatment by airlines, or whether it comes to the need for competition in the air sector and the need to ensure that there are affordable prices.
While you, the consumer, is paying for the base fare on a ticket, you also may be paying for extra add-ons like seat selection and baggage. Both Air Canada and WestJet charge $35 one way for your first checked bag if you book an economy fare.
It's not so much the actual base airfare that costs you money, it's all the extra add-ons that adding on for a carry-on, adding on your checked luggage and whatnot. That just tends to add up very quick. It's just nickel and diming a consumer to death, really.
WestJet has introduced a new ultra-basic fare option where the base fare is cheaper, but there's a hitch. You're not allowed to bring a carry-on, and if you want to bring a checked bag, the price goes up to $45. And that may not be realistic for longer trips or for families.
If you were just to get on with nothing except maybe your wallet in your back pocket, that would be nice, but that's not realistic for families.
To address affordability, WestJet has also recommended implementing a freeze on mandatory government fees.
What they'd love to see is for the government to get away from the current model, which is essentially a user pays model, so that people who use the air sector, people who travel by air, the monies that they pay essentially go to cover the cost of security, the cost of air traffic control, the cost of airport infrastructure. The question is always, are they going to pass those savings on to consumers through lower prices? And I don't know if we see a lot of evidence that that's the case.
With a major grip on the industry, there is little incentive for airlines to reduce fares, meaning that passengers will have little alternatives. Adam Burrows, CKPG News.
And with more on this issue, Adam Burrows joins us in studio now. Adam, first off, thanks for being here tonight. Let's start off with how a ticket is priced by the airlines. How is that decided?
Right, so the base fare that you see when you go to book a ticket on an airline's website like WestJet or Air Canada, it'll show you, let's say a price from Prince George to Vancouver is $150 for one way. The base fare that the airline determines is about $100 of that, and about $50 of that goes towards fees. And those are airport improvement fees, fees that go to pay for security, air traffic control, things that keep the aviation sector moving. The rest of that $100 is determined by the airline, so that goes, and that $100 goes to fuel costs, staffing costs, just the cost of operating a flight and making sure that that money goes back to the people that are working the flight, so going to the salaries of the pilots, the flight attendants. So that's where that money goes, and that's kind of how the ticket price is determined. Depending on the market too, there's also some difference. That's how it kind of goes into the determination as well. If there's a lot of airlines flying into one particular airport, that might affect the ticket price. It might be a bit lower just because they're competing with a lot of other airlines. If there's not, in terms of, let's say, Prince George, for example, only 2 airlines.
Right.
The price might be a bit higher just because of that fact.
I'll get back to that in terms of the competition in just a second, but how has the industry evolved over the last, let's say, 20 years?
So it's evolved a lot. Back in, say 20 years ago, the industry was still dominated pretty much by Air Canada and WestJet. We've seen that dominance grow over the last 20 years to the point where airlines now charge for checked bags. That's kind of been the industry standard now for many, many years. Because of that dominance, because of the 2 players in the industry, they've really managed to set the stage and make the shots. They can set the market trends however they want just because they are the only players in the industry, and that has changed. We've had some other partners, Flair Airlines, Porter Airlines, they've managed to get into the market and they've made more of a name for themselves, but WestJet and Air Canada still dominate the two. That hasn't changed, but what we have seen change is more add-ons, charging for seats, charging for bags, a lot more add-ons, charging for drinks and snacks on the plane, that sort of thing.
And the accommodations on the planes itself
have reduced.
Right.
You're getting less services, and you're paying more, but you're getting less.
Right.
Right. So there's a lot of that. We talk about the golden age of flying back in the 60s, 70s, where you got so much, you got first-class service. That's just not the case anymore.
Right. And going back to the competition, like you think about the United States, excuse me. There's 6 or 7 major airlines, and the competition, it tends to bring out the best in a way for the consumer. How would more competition help some of the stuff that's going on in Canada?
Well, it would, in a theory, it would bring down prices just because of the fact that you have more players competing, but the smaller players like Flair or Porter, they have to get into those secondary markets. They have to get into the Prince George markets, Saskatoon, the Kelowna markets, where they can really target a wider audience. They're flying into Vancouver, they're flying into Calgary, great, but if people from Prince George can't access those markets in Vancouver, you're losing there. So they have to get into those markets, lower the airfares, but all in all, it would really bring out innovation, but it would maybe make the experience better for more people that are traveling in this country, because flying is a part of our lives.
Yeah, and it's certainly frustrating for a lot of Canadians. Adam Burles, thank you very much for that report.
Thank you.
In other news, one Prince George City councillor is leading the charge in advocating for provincial help for funding medical supplies. As Dave Branco tells us now, that councillor feels the city is being forced to pay when Victoria should be covering the cost.
When a Prince George Fire Rescue member responds to a medical call, they carry a fully stocked medical equipment go kit. According to Councillor Kyle Sampson, the cost of restocking these kits should be the province's responsibility.
What we would like to see is we would like the province to reimburse us for the expenses that we are incurring to backstop them.
Several members of the fire rescue have high level of medical response training, and the number of calls increased over the last 5 years.
Some of it due to the opioid crisis has resulted in a significant increase in the supplies we're using. Much more oxygen, we use naloxone, but we're also calling to other calls, diabetic calls where we're doing blood sugars, and all of it has increased significantly.
According to Sampson, medical calls are the province's responsibility, and he's seeking funding to support municipal emergency responders.
Prince George taxpayers shouldn't be paying the bill for what should be all of British Columbia's responsibility.
Recently, Sampson met with a handful of ministers in Victoria to discuss the depletion of medical supplies. He hopes to meet with the top officials in the fall from that meeting.
I'm optimistic that the province is going to see that this is a layup or a no-brainer. But if they don't and they put up that wall, then we'll have to continue on with the path of our fight to get those funds that we deserve.
In 2023, Prince George Fire Rescue responded to 322 calls that were immediately life-threatening with medical aid. There is currently no estimate of how much these medical supply costs taxpayers. Dave Branco, CKPG News.
It was an exciting day today for the College of New Caledonia, as more than 1,100 students crossed the stage to celebrate graduation. Tommy Osborne attended the convocation ceremony and brings us more on the occasion.
The College of New Caledonia celebrated its 54th convocation on Thursday, where more than 1,100 graduates crossed the stage. For many students, it's not just a celebration of graduating their respective programs, but a celebration of personal growth and achievement, too.
2 years ago, when I came to CNC, I was very shy and introvert, and all the experiences that I have gained during the CNC journey, I have joined the Students' Union, I was the woman representative over there. It feels like I have found myself, my capabilities, my strengths and weaknesses.
This is the third program I've ever graduated from, and now I'm a bit older, I've got 3 kids, and they all get to come watch me, which is really kind of cool. It's a really big deal. I think it'll be nice for my kids to see that not only did I do this, but I did this with the whole other bunch of responsibilities going on at home too.
Convocation is always a special moment for those who get you across the stage, and this convocation held extra significance for CNC President Cindy Heitman, as it's actually her first convocation as president.
I am so excited to be coming back. As a former alumni myself, it has become full circle.
Heitman says this is the largest convocation the college has seen in many years, and feels it's an encouraging sign that the college is delivering a memorable and worthy experience for students.
It's promising for the college's growth going forward, but also promising in terms of it signaling to us what CNC means to students. The fact that students are willing to come back, many of them have already finished their programs, but they're coming back to participate in this tells us that we've had an impact on their educational journey.
Many students agree, saying the CNC experience was fantastic, and they all wanted to extend both a congratulations to their fellow graduates and a thank you to everyone who helped along the way.
To everyone who has contributed to the journeys of our graduates. It would never have been possible without everyone, and the unwavering support every one of us got.
June 6th was the Prince George convocation, but the Quesnel campus convocation will take place next week on June 11th. Tommy Osborne, CKPG News.
Back in Prince George, local Mounties held their annual law enforcement torch run today in support of the 2025 BC Special Olympics. Special Olympic athletes in Prince George headed to the RCMP detachment on Victoria Street for a barbecue fundraiser in preparation for the Summer Games, which are being held in the city in 2025. This will mark the third time the community has hosted the Games for athletes with intellectual disabilities around the province. The Games offer a wide variety of sports from 10-pin bowling, basketball, powerlifting, and much more. We spoke with the athletes and the officers about the importance of the annual torch run. Here's what they had to say.
It raises awareness, too, for Special Olympics here in town.
This event represents a lot for the athletes. It's a good opportunity for us to help them fundraise, to help send them to the Summer Games in 2025. It's also an opportunity to raise awareness and expose them to maybe some police officers or other people of our detachment that they wouldn't normally get a chance to talk to.
As of this morning, the lowest gas price in Prince George was sitting at $1.59 per liter at Costco. The lowest price in the province right now is in Grand Forks at $1.51.9 per liter. Manitoba currently has the lowest fuel prices on average in the country at $1.37.8 per liter, while BC has an average price of $1.75.5 per liter.
CKPG Sports is delivered by Domino's. Join the Domino's Lunch Club with 25% off all regular price pizzas every day. Visit domino's.ca to join the club.
UNBC's men's basketball team is gearing up for another medal run next season as they announced a new signing. Point guard Milan Pasquale will be suiting up for the green and gold, and his family's basketball roots run deep. His uncle Eli Pasquale is a two-time Olympian and spent 15 seasons playing for Canada internationally. Milan, meanwhile, is looking to add to the family legacy here in Prince George. And as a two-time provincial AA first-team All-Star, he's well-positioned to do so, averaging over 27 points per game, 8 rebounds, and nearly 8 assists with the Brentwood College High School. The Timberwolves say Pasquale's skill set and IQ will be a big help to the team. As for Milan himself, well, he can't wait to hit the court.
The thing I'm looking forward to most next year is probably playing against older and stronger guys, getting to practice with the guys at UNBC, and growing my game. I wanted to commit to UNBC because I felt like everyone I met on my visit was super inviting and welcoming. I enjoyed talking to the coaches. They're really nice people and they're committed to making me a better player, and I'm all about developing my game.
The TSX is up 84 points to close at 22,229. The Dow Jones is up 79 points to close at 38,886. And Artemis Gold went down 14 cents to close at $11 even.
Good evening again. We are looking at a wonderful weather trend. A look back on our satellite map. Not a bad day. Mix of sun and cloud for the most part. But again, we're leaving a slight chance of showers in our forecast and a risk of a thunderstorm going into the later part of the evening, though, clearing out quite nicely. So it is the ridge that is going to really dominate the weather story going forward for the next several days. Today, there was a bit of higher cloud coming in from the southwest along parts of the province, but otherwise really uneventful for many areas. Futurecast the next 48 hours. Speaking of uneventful, yeah, this is it. We're not going to have lots to show on this map going into the next few days. It is just going to be nice and clear and beautiful and sunny and warm. So that dry and warm stretch begins as we move into our day tomorrow. 20 for our afternoon, even warmer than that for the weekend. The Peace looking wonderful as well. Fort St. John, 19 degrees. Sunshine there. The southern interior, Okanagan, South Coast. Today was a beautiful day there. Tomorrow will be that much better. And it's really right up and down the coast that we see that nice clearing trend as well into our day. Tomorrow's highs across our broadcast region are actually pretty similar. Lots of 20s going on here, and that is pretty much where we'll sit. Maybe a touch warmer or a touch cooler in some areas, but all in all, an average temperature of about 20 degrees is what we're expecting. 19 McBride, so maybe a little cooler, but not by much, of course. Our west coast weather looks wonderful. 23 degrees in Vancouver. Away from the water, though, we'll take that temperature up to about 27 going into the weekend. So it's going to be a really warm stretch for everybody there. 20 degrees in Edmonton, a mix of sun and cloud. We still have the odd chance of a shower in there. Regina, a lot calmer with the winds tomorrow, but 21 and sunshine. So a really nice day. And then further east, we know the temperatures have been really warm. And of course, factoring in the humidity in areas like Toronto and much of Ontario, it's been taking the temperature up significantly. But there's a bit of a change and a bit of a reprieve, I guess you could say, here and there for the next couple of days. Some showers in the mix going forward. Sun cloud mix for us into the weekend, and we will have straight sunshine in some parts of the day. It won't always be that sun cloud mix, but you can see the jet stream pushing further north, so that's allowing all that warmer air to push up from the south. So we'll break down the temperatures for you on our extended forecast. -5 tonight, clear and cold in Burns Lake. So temperatures for the next couple of days in some areas are going to be very chilly. You can see that right here, and then getting above that freezing mark by a few on Saturday night and up to 24 for the daytime. So it is going to be nice in the daytime, but the overnight lows are still a bit chilly. Mackenzie will see that as well. +1 tonight, up to 20 for the next few days. Beautiful sunshine tomorrow, partly sunny for Saturday, Sunday, and stretching into early next week. We may see that ridge kind of back off just a little bit, but likely going to rebuild in many places later on into the week again. McBride, 19 degrees for the afternoon tomorrow. You're up to 22 by Saturday, but a chilly one tonight at +2. Quesnel as well, clear and chilly. Beautiful day tomorrow, though. Nothing but sunshine in your forecast for the next couple. And here in Prince George, we will be down to about +1 or +2. And I should mention that when the temperature gets down that cool, yes, we do still have a risk of frost to take into consideration for tonight. 20 degrees for our afternoon tomorrow, even warmer than that for the weekend. Get outside, enjoy it. It's going to be fantastic.
CKPG Sports is delivered by Domino's. Join the Domino's Lunch Club with 25% off all regular price pizzas every day. Visit domino's.ca to join the club.
In Prince George Senior Men's Baseball League action last night, the JRJ Construction Orioles crushed the Fresno Construction Mariners 10-0 at Citi Field. Cole Waldy pitched a complete game shutout for the Orioles, while Zach Fillion took the loss for the Mariners. Brady Lefebvre went 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs for the Orioles on offense. 2 games on tonight as well. At 6:15, the Orioles play the Tigers. Then at 8:30, the Mariners take on the Knights. The NBA Finals kicks off tonight with Luka Doncic and the Mavericks taking on Jason Tatum and the league-leading Celtics. To gear up for the big game tonight, we bring you the top highlights from the Mavs and Celtics games earlier this year in tonight's CKP3.
Starting off with a Luka onslaught.
Missed it. Doncic, another rebound, his 9th. Doncic cruising, lobbing, lively flushing.
Just a small sample of many highlights from Luka's 37-point triple-double, as he let the Celtics know he's a threat no matter where he is on the court. Next, Jaylen Brown gets his revenge.
He did! Always got to rain on the parade. Look at JB! He dropped Doncic!
Even the top players look a bit silly at times, as Jaylen Brown sends Luka tumbling to the court for the easy bucket. Finally, fast-paced action from both teams.
They've had some good looks.
First to 50 tonight.
Tatum with a steal and saved it in bounds as well. Running the floor, Brown from Holiday. White at the other end misses, and the Celtics are now 1 of 8 from the floor. Josh Green in transition to the basket.
The Mavs and Celtics both showing off its fast break prowess, as they can score buckets in just a matter of seconds. This NBA Finals promises to be an exciting one, and we can definitely expect more spectacular highlights on the way in tonight's CKP3.
That's all the time we have for tonight, folks. Thanks for joining us as always, and we will see you tomorrow. Have a great night.